everyone, and welcome to another episode here on The Remedy. Today, we have a brand new show for you, and I can't wait to introduce to you the members of the panel who are here with me this morning. But just before I do that, I just want to go back to the Bible a little bit, if I may. I remember when Adam and Eve sinned, they find themselves in this predicament. They find themselves with this terminal condition that we all call sin. And it felt like that man was left without hope, that a cure was needed, a remedy was needed. And so God looked into heaven and to see if he could find a donor that would be suitable to save the human race. And behold, Jesus, God's only begotten Son, he became the perfect match to save mankind. Jesus, in my opinion, became the very first living donor when he chose to give his life for us on the cross. He became a bone marrow donor. For the Bible says, without the shedding of blood, there is no remission from sin. So Jesus was willing to go through the pain and the agony and the death of the cross so that all those who receive this free gift, this remedy, can have eternal life. So with these thoughts, I want to welcome each and every one of you to The Remedy. Ladies, it's a pleasure to have each and every one of you here. As many of you already know, August is a National Minority Donor Awareness Month. And today I am excited because we are collaborating with the Gift of Life Donor Program to learn about organ and tissue donation. So I want to take a moment right now to welcome Diane Klein. Diane, say hello to everybody. Diane is
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. She's the hospital service coordinator at Gift of Life. And we also have Jeannie Thomas.
Hello.
Yes. Jeannie, she's a kidney recipient. And of course, her beloved mother is with her, Miss Jeannie Brown.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
And we have from Family Support Counselor at Gift of Life, Miss Shonda Brinson.
Hi, everybody.
And finally, Miss Yolanda Toole. Is it Toole?
Toole.
We're going to get to hear the story of each and every one of them. I want to begin with Diana. Can you tell us a little bit, what is the Gift of Life donor program?
Absolutely. That's an excellent question. So Gift of Life donor program is considered an OPO, which is an organ procurement organization. Gift of Life is a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 45 plus years. And just so you know, there are other OPOs or organ procurement organizations within the country. We are not the only one. There are actually a total of about 58 organ procurement organizations in the United States. We, however, are the largest. So within our organization, there are more donors and more transplants in our donor service area. In addition to what I just said, each organ procurement organization is responsible for their donor service area. The area that we cover is the entire state of Delaware, southern New Jersey, and if you split Pennsylvania in half, we have everything from the middle of the state and everything east, so everything in Philly. So every one of us, we live in the largest area within the country that does transplants. That's really what it amounts to. So in addition to what that means, we are responsible for having the conversations with the families at that very, very difficult time when their loved ones are not going to really make it, if they're intermittently, if they're going to pass, in other words, if they're going to die. So we have those conversations, those very tough conversations with the families. We also clinically manage the donors to make sure that those gifts are able to be transplanted. And lastly, what we do, and I'm very, very proud of this as an organization, we provide an amazing bereavement and aftercare program for our families. And that's pretty much what we do.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
I know.
Now, Miss Jeannie, I want to talk to you a little bit because I heard a little bit about your story, and I just couldn't wait to have you on our program today. Jeannie, now you receive a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this experience? I mean, I want to hear details. Tell us a little bit about this experience. How was that for you?
Yeah, so like in the beginning, I got on dialysis. My kidneys failed. I went to the hospital, and long story short, they said I was in kidney failure. And my aunt and my mom got there in like 5 minutes. So my mom works 45 minutes away. I don't know how she got there in the time that she made it to the hospital. And my aunt got there and was already on her way. And like I'm like, how did you get here? And you worked like 30 minutes away. Like, so they just like maybe like flew there or something. I don't know. So I went to the hospital. They said that my kidneys were failed. I didn't know what that meant. I guess like my mom and aunt kind of knew what it meant, but not really at the time. And that was when I was 19. So that was in like 2013. And I was in college too. So, that was a lot going on. So just fast forward, I was on dialysis for 3 years, 2 months and 3 days. I started out with hemodialysis, where you go into the center and you get dialysis for 4 hours. I started with 4.5 hours and I got down to 4 hours, 3 days a week. And I was still in college. And I also graduated that first college while I was in dialysis and started another program at Community College of Philadelphia. While I was on dialysis the first time, I went to the restaurant school at Walnut Hill College and got my degree in culinary arts. So while I was still on dialysis, and then I went to Community College of Philadelphia. So I went there and I got my cousin unfortunately passed away, and his family gave me his kidney.
Directly donated.
Yeah, directly donated. His name was Chopper Hoggart. So he directly gave me his kidney, and it was like at the end of the semester for school. And I said, you know what? I'll take the semester over again because I have to get off dialysis. So I went to the hospital. Well, the next day, it was a couple of days where we were at the hospital with my cousin and his family, just trying to figure everything out. Like 2 or 3 days later, I was still going to school at that time because I didn't know if I was getting the kidney. So I didn't drop out of school at that moment. So I got a call like the next day. And at this point I was on peritoneal dialysis. So that's the dialysis that I do at home every night for 10 hours. And now you have a tube in your stomach, and that's the fluid. It's a fluid that goes in your stomach, and the word is it's a word that dialysate, I think. It's a word that's something that it does in the peritoneum of the lining of your stomach that takes like the toxins and the extra fluid out. Mm-hmm. And then it filters it out. So it stays in there, it filters it out for 10 straight hours, and I could not sleep at all. But that's what I had to do if I wanted to do the home dialysis. I also did a nocturnal dialysis before the peritoneal dialysis, where I did it at night for 7 hours because it was better for my school schedule. So I was on the peritoneal dialysis for maybe 2.5 months because I got the transplant right after. So the day that I got the transplant, I was so hyped and excited that I didn't do my dialysis treatment the night before. I forgot to. So I was just so excited. I was like, oh, I got to actually even go to sleep tonight. Like, I got to actually go to sleep. So I can't do this tonight. So I got a call the next morning from a transplant coordinator at Jefferson University. And, they said, do you know someone's giving you a kidney transplant? I said, yes, I do. And they were like, so we're going to run some more tests and do some other stuff. And they said it's going to be a couple hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours. So just be prepared. So I said, okay. So I had a bag already packed because I was prepared. So I said, let me go to the mall or something and just try to get my mind off some stuff, like try to not be stressed out. And she called back like 2 hours later and said, you can come in the hospital. You don't know how fast I told my mom to get out. No. I said, drop what you're doing. I don't care. I don't care if you in surgery. She's not even a doctor. I said, I don't care if you want surgery. Let's go. So we went to the hospital, you know, went through the emergency room. They brought us back, and it was a couple hours. They brought us up to the room. And Diane, my aunt, stayed the whole time. Yeah. She met us right at the hospital. She knew what was going on anyway, but you know, she met us right at the hospital. But actually, her whole family was there. Like, it was both of our whole families there in the actual emergency department room. They were like, there's so many people in here. I'm like, well, when you got a good support system, this is what happens. Like, this is, you know, what a family looks like. Because in order to get the transplant, you have to have, I think, emotional support, family support, because it was one of the actual like checklists that I had to do. They said, if you don't have no family to support you, we cannot give you the transplant, which was, it's crazy, but also it makes sense because you really can't get through this by yourself. So we were in the emergency room for a couple hours, and they brought me up to a room, and my mom and my aunt stayed. And I can remember at 4 a.m, they knocked on the door, and me and my mom and my aunt were just asleep, like, because it was so long. Like, I got there like 5 in the afternoon, and they were there, and they was like, okay, we're ready to take you down. I was like, oh, here we go. And I was so nervous. So they were like, we're going to transfer you to a different room. I said, well, my Uggs are upstairs. Like, this is the only thing I told my aunt, was like, I have your Uggs, don't worry. I said, you sure? Because they're new. Like, I need my Uggs. Like, that's all I remember before the transplant. So I went downstairs, and it was early in the morning, so I was really like the only person down there. The doctor came, Dr. Shah, that was his name, Dr. Shah. And, you know, he introduced himself, and I said, okay, are you going to, I knew I was getting a transplant. I said, okay, are you going to take the tube out of my stomach? Because I'm not going to be on dialysis. He was like, well, if your kidney works when we put it in, I'll take it out. I was like, are you sure? Because that's all I was worried about. I want this tube out my stomach because people can see it through my shirt. And especially it was in the summertime in the beginning. And I was like, I really didn't like this seeing them like in my shirt and stuff. And then he said, okay, just, you know, we'll get you back there and everything. So I got back there. They put me to sleep. And I remember just waking up and to this nurse that was next to me. And he was like, hi. And I was like, did I get my transplant? He was like, yeah. And I touched my stomach. It was no tube. I said, oh my God. Oh, I done got the tube out. And I was like, oh yeah, I got the transplant too, but I got the tube out. So I just immediately started crying. I was like, oh my God, I don't have to do dialysis anymore. And the nurse was so nervous. He's like, let me go get your mom. Let me go get your aunt. And so my mom and my aunt came down, and my older brother, William, they came down. I guess they were in a waiting room or whatever. And I was just so happy. And really, that was it. You know, I stayed in the hospital for a couple of days. After that, I like went about my normal life. Really, like,
Blessing.
Yeah, like I just, I was able to go out with my friends, which I was so happy about. I never really was drunk alcohol, so that really wasn't an issue for me. I just was able to not be confined to a machine or or stay in my bed all day and have to worry about this, going to school and everything. I was just had to go to school and take my medicine, which was fine. Like, that's the only thing. Other than that, I had to do nothing else except go to a doctor's appointment. So,
you know, as I was listening to you sharing your story, I couldn't help but to think about, in the midst of everything that was going on with you, you kept going to school. You didn't use that as an excuse to give up in school, to give up in your life. You kept going to school and you kept pursuing your dream, knowing full well that sooner or later you're going to get a kidney.
Right.
You know, and to me, that's amazing by itself. This is the power of life.
Yes, it is.
You wanted to continue to live your life. And now, Mom, you're sitting so close to your daughter. I mean, I can feel the energy from both of you. As a mother, how did you feel when you found out that your daughter, this beautiful soul sitting next to you, was in need of a kidney?
I was extremely devastated. Luckily, my sister Diane Klein, that works for the Gift of Life, once she knew about that information, she had just kind of explained it a little bit more thoroughly to us. I think the most devastating thing was to actually just understanding that my child needed a transplant that would pretty much save her life.
That's right.
And just going through the process of the dialysis, and sometimes when the dialysis didn't work, she had to get her vein declotted from a vein center. She was on a fluid restriction where she was only able to drink 32 ounces of fluid a day for 3 years, especially in the summertime. And it was a couple times where she was over her fluid. So she had to get an additional dialysis treatment with the 3 days. So it sometimes could be 4 days that she had to be dialyzed. But because I have such a dynamic support system with the hospital nursing staff at Blankenau, the Gift of Life, my sister, my family here, friends, asking God, getting on my knees every night, just praying, because prayers do work. So, yes. I mean, it was a lot, but as I got to understand it and understand what the ramifications were in terms of helping saving my child's life, and just information for me myself, because unfortunately none of my immediate family couldn't give Jeannie the kidney because we have underlying diseases as well. So understanding that, I have high blood pressure and hypertension, that I couldn't help actually help my daughter get it. That was kind of a bummer for me too. But one of our family members actually stepped up to the plate, and we pay homage to Chopper Hoggart, my cousin, daily for this Gift of Life. So just to answer your question, it was just a long journey, and the journey still continues, because in addition to Jeannie receiving her treatment, she also has a rare blood disease called HUS, hemolytic uremic syndrome, where she gets a treatment every 2 weeks, so that kidney can be protected. So the struggle, yes, it does continue, but at the same time, just to not have her going to the dialysis center, 3 times a week, and she's just able to get a second chance of life is amazing to me. And I have so much respect for the Gift of Life organization, because they actually changed the life for not only my daughter, but myself and everyone that's surrounded by us.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. This is just God works, and it's just amazing story. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think we take for granted just waking up every day and having all of our organs work. And it's not until you hear stories like that, or if you're in the field, you see it every day, that you understand what truly goes on. Now, is it Jeannie, the youngest one, the one that had to receive the donor? I forgot your name. What? Jeannie. Okay, Jeannie. Now, I know that I've heard many times that sometime after you receive the organ, you have to be on a lot of drugs to ensure that your body does not reject that organ, because it is something foreign, and people have a lot of side effects with it. What was your experience?
So the first 6 weeks, it was a little rocky. I had to go back to the hospital because my creatinine went up a little bit. So the medicine made it a little, it was a little high. I was on a lot of medicine. I'm still on some of it, but not as much. A day I maybe take right now, maybe 18 separate pills a day. And when I first started it, it was maybe about 45 pills a day. And it was a little off. They said it's going to be like that for a while. So they weren't too concerned, because they have to get it right. And I said, okay, that's fine. So they got it right after a while, and it decreases over the time, because the kidney just starts to like actually connect with your body over time.
Yeah.
So it's good now. It's been like the first time for the first year, maybe 6 months to a year, they had to get it right. But it'll be 4 years on November 14th, so it's fine now. They took a lot of stuff away, which is good. And yeah, so the only other things I've had, like the side effects I've had was
just diarrhea probably.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Which is the normal side effects of the medication.
I had mental issues because I never had those before.
Okay.
So I take a anxiety medication, and I go to therapy every 2 weeks. That was like the biggest thing, I think. That mentally, like I had really bad mental issues, and I won't go into all details. But
no, you don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, but just it was really like I didn't know what was going on, and I actually saw a transplant psychiatrist, and she told me what was going on.
Okay.
She actually told me what was going on, and it made sense. And she said, it's just a lot going on. It's just
a lot
fight each other in my brain, and it's like a car. I don't know a lot about cars. I just know how to drive them. She said it's a car, like if your car engine light is on and you gotta do something to it, and it's not clicking. Like she said, like that's kind of it. And she gave me a like an anxiety pill, and I feel like 10 times better. And I see therapy every 2 weeks, and it's just I think talking about it, like especially like it's like my mom and my boyfriend helped, like if they weren't there, then I don't know what was really going on with my mental state. So like,
thank you. I'm listening to you, and there's an energy. Besides everything, there is that positive energy that I think that has helped a lot, because you've been through a lot, but throughout everything, I'm not hearing any negative, any why me. There's that positive that's with you. That's just
right. And I also thought that at first, honestly, like, it's just like, how come I gotta, do this? All my friends get to, not saying I want to do this, but like drink and go out and do all this other stuff. And I can't even have a baby without actually going to the hospital and like, I mean, I'm 26, so I definitely want to like start a family, but like, how come all my friends get to do this? Like they can get like, pregnant or get drunk or
the typical things of life that kids, not kids, should I say, people your age get to do, and then you've had so many. But with all of that, I see the positivity. I see the even when you talk about the side effects, you said, it wasn't so bad. It's okay. So that energy to overcome everything. It's just. I've done organ transplant research because I do research studies.
Yes.
And I know that the patients, unfortunately, as you know, of course, God first. And then when you talk about medicine, sometimes people say, well, why do you even have to put these drugs in the market that have so many side effects? At the end of the day, in pharmaceutical, our goal is, we know we're not going to get 100% because God is only 100%.
That's right.
The goal is to save 80 to 90%. And then the difference between that and God is when God heal you, it's 100%. When pharmaceutical heal you, there's always sometimes some residual. So
exactly,
our drug comes with side effects. It's a known fact. However, in the long run, you have to play, kidney versus some side effects. So you learn to, unfortunately, fight your battle.
Exactly.
And that's what I see with you. It's not the fact that you had this. It's not the fact that, oh my God, why me? It's the fact that I was the fortunate one to get this kidney, to receive this kidney. And I'm going to make the best of this kidney despite everything. And I don't know what to say. You're just an amazing woman.
Patty, that is so insightful. I really, really love that. I really, really do, what you just said, because when you look, yes, there are many side effects to drugs. I mean, and if you want to look at it, there are side effects to food.
Yes.
So, you for the gift and the miracle and the blessing that was bestowed upon Jeannie and really our entire family to receive a directed donation from a family member, to receive a kidney, or not be present. And life is a gift in and of itself.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is. And it's something that we should not ever, nobody should ever take for granted. I mean, that is a pure gift from from God. And so we should not be, we should be grateful for it, and we should treat it appropriately and treat it as something special. And so, and take care of ourselves. And so I think that's our duty. So, hey, look, you know what? If we have to take a drug, if Janir had to take a drug like all the other transplant recipients, you take, Janir, I think you said you take 18 pills a day, right?
Yeah, about 18.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
What's the alternative? Yes.
So then you do what you have to do to protect that gift.
Yes.
And Diane,
and also it's you know, I tell people that all the time. People don't realize how fortunate you are to be in a country that can offer that. Because you can be somewhere where unfortunately you have this happening and they don't have the medical needs to support that.
Yes, ma'am.
So you do start counting your blessings, and yes, things could be much better. But I think as we get older, as we are in this society, not even older, unfortunately, they are little kids that are born and they need it from the beginning. So I think life is about counting our blessings and also the energy, even when things seem so rough. And that's what I'm saying, is that energy was still there despite the obstacles.
I agree. Can I just say make one statement, or just
Absolutely.
in addition to something that both Diana and this other lovely young lady that just spoke said, and I do Patty, I believe her name is.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. When we were first got the information from the nephrologist about recipients of the transplant, what they told us that they really kind of, and I hate to say it like this, but this is what I was told, that they kind of shy away from giving young folks kidneys. And I asked them, well, what was the rationale behind that? They said because in a lot of cases where a lot of young children or young kids were recipients, they did not take care of their kidney, meaning that they didn't take their medication when they were supposed to. They didn't do what they were supposed to do as far as not consume huge amounts of alcoholic beverages. So when they said that to me, and I told them, I said, I hear what you're saying, but guess what? My child is different. And the reason why she's different is because I'm going to be a part of Janir's journey to make sure that that kidney that she receives is going to be taken care of properly until it does not work anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen.
So, it's crazy. Real quick, my daughter Janir here also had COVID-19. Her and one of my oldest children had it. So I was extremely nervous. I was extremely nervous because with this disease that we still don't know 100% information about, Janir's kidney, I didn't want it to be compromised because of this disease. So what I had to do, I had to actually set up my house like it was a hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
My eldest son stayed in the basement because I have a finished basement. And then because I have, it's a total of 4 of us that resides here, my 3 children and myself. So luckily everybody else was able to have their own room. So I work in a nursing home. I'm a general manager for a food service company. I had to have my upper echelon send me all kind of PPE, and they sent it to me, and I'm just so overwhelmed of the outpour and the support that I had from them. My sister Diane Klein, she actually physically went to the market and actually bought the food, and because she has a key to my home, left the food at the on the inside of the house. Her as well as my daughter's boyfriend. So those were the only 2 family members that were allowed in my home, and they just helped us out through this entire ordeal. My son actually had to be hospitalized because he developed diabetic ketoacidosis, and it was just a mess. So me not being able to go see my son, but still making sure that I'm caring for Janir, making sure things were sanitized, wiped, clean, making sure that the food was coming in when it was supposed to, making sure that the dog was walked, just daily things that, was I overwhelmed? Yes. But at the same time, was my children still here and alive? Absolutely, they were. So that's exactly what kind of made me get through this entire thing. So, you know, if people don't believe that there's a God, it's something the matter with them. I'm so sorry to say that.
Come on.
Because he is our strength. Without him every day, getting up in the morning and saying, guess what, you know what, God, I know I've been through so much, but guess what? I'm better off than a lot of people all over the world. So that's what we have to think about. I'm always at the point where I'm empathetic. I've always put myself in the place of somebody else, especially when my child was going through this. But at the same time, you know what, she went through this and she got 2 college degrees. She's now has her own business. She has her own business now. So, I mean, to support, you know, just believing in God, we got to put him first.
That's right.
At the end of the day, we got to put him first. And like you guys said, the energy that comes from having a positive mental attitude, which I have to make sure I have to have for my kids, I got that from God. That strength comes directly from him.
Can I just say that, listen, we all go through stuff, being who we are and how we look in this country. We don't even need to get into that, but we know what we're talking about. Yeah. Can I say that my sister, you know what, Patty, you said something interesting. There's no question as to where Jeannie gets her strength from. But my sister is a complete warrior. Somebody commented there. And that is the nature of how we were raised. So we are a God-fearing family. And that's just how we were raised. Even in just the simplicity of knowing every day that you are not, listen, it's not just about you.
Nope.
And it's not going to ever be about you. But the same way and care that she is given to her daughter, our parents gave and still give, because we still have our parents with us.
Yep.
Thank you. But do you see her? I mean, her energy and her selflessness is transparent, and it's transient in how we do all live our lives today. I've said too much, but thank you.
Now, Miss Diane, I have to say, I'm listening to, I think this is Miss Jeannie.
Yes, ma'am.
To her, and I said, oh my God, she's so strong. Yes. She's so strong. And I am so proud of you. You are such a strong person. You deserve the best. You're such a great, I barely know you, but it's so transparent. The love for your kids, who you are, and your love for God. Let me tell you, I have to tell you, you're going to have some more challenges because you're so strong. God's going to test you because you pick it.
Patty, that is so true. Another short story, Patty, real quick. My kids, especially Jeannie, she is my strength. Last year I was diagnosed with so I love it. The strength is reciprocated. You see what I'm saying? It's reciprocated. And last year I was diagnosed with stage 1 colon cancer.
My Lord.
Oh my God.
And when I tell you the struggle continues, but I'm cancer-free right now. But this is what my daughter told me, and this is probably how I got to overcome this. She said, Mommy, if I did dialysis for 3 years, 2 months, and 2 days, if you had to get chemo, you can't do that for 6 weeks. But luckily, I didn't have to get any of those treatments. But at the end of the day, God got the final answer. And once again, when you have people that love you, when you do good to people, it really comes back to you. And I'm going to have struggles. I mean, it's evident. We can't control that.
Can't control it.
You know what I'm saying? We can't control that. But like I said, when you have the strength of God and you are a believer, you could overcome a lot of stuff.
I'll tell you, and I will let Pastor D do these things, but I'll tell you, every time I'm down, I am going to put this this episode because it is such a powerful statement, and the way you carry yourself. I think every time I need a boost of just positivity, this is what I'm playing.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I am just loving this. We do have a question, however, for Jeannie. The question came from the audience. This person wants to know, Wendy wants to know, what was the hardest part of waiting for the transplant?
What was the hardest part? Not being able to drink more than 32 ounces, I think.
Wow.
Because I drink, not alcohol. I drink so much. Like, I'm such a thirsty person. That was it. And then, like, actually having to get up and going to get the treatment. Fortunately, I met a lot of nice people there. Like because I was literally the youngest person there. The techs, they're still my friends now. And I had met this guy there. His name was Reginald Thompson, and I call him like my stepdad. Like he was so nice. Like he just passed away in April, but he was so nice to me, and he paid for a semester for college for me because at one time we were down and out, so there was a lot going on, and like the hardest part. Yeah, the hardest part was maybe like the drinking of the 32 ounces and just sitting on that machine, and like just sitting on the machine and just like all the scars I have, like my arms and my chest and my stomach and stuff. But for some reason, my little brother said, I wish I had those scars. I said, you know what? Stay away from me. And so that was like mostly the part, and like being tired and feeling sick and just like, you just feel so weird. I can't explain the feeling of how you feel. You feel lightheaded, you feel sick, but you feel hungry, but you feel like you just got something nasty out of you. But you also feel like weird. So I don't know, like the feeling was like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, and just every day feeling like, I hope I get this transplant. Earlier,
you mentioned about having a strong family support or a strong support system from the audience as well. Melody wants to know, what impact did having a family support, what had on the family while going through all of this, and what do you feel was the most important thing that they provided to you?
I would say the family support, like if I was on dialysis by myself, like I've seen people when they were by themselves and no one was helping them, so how they even looked, they just looked, I don't want to say dirty because it's a lot going through dialysis. And I remember it was one young lady, every day she would come in, it's just like look bad, like, and they would say like she really doesn't have nobody with her. She quit her job, she quit her career, and I think she had a husband that was like way older than her, and I don't know. But every time I came in, I was dressed and pressed, and and just I don't know, but in the beginning I was really like, I was sad. I'm not gonna lie, I was really sad, and I was like, I don't even want to be here. But I started to read articles and things, and they would say like, if you're coming to doctor's appointments, if you come to dialysis, make sure you feel good, and when you feel good, you look good. So like when you look good, I'm like, okay, let me just put something nice on. Let me do this, that, other. That's when I got into makeup, actually. That I started to get into makeup when I was on dialysis. So like even the support, like I would come after school, and at that time I didn't have a license. I would have to catch the bus from school to dialysis. And just of like my family, like everyone, like my grandparents would sometimes pick me up. My mom would always come. My brothers would always come. Even my brothers would, when I didn't have a car, when my mom just had a car and she had to go to work, my brother would catch the bus to be there with me and sit at the treatment the whole time, the whole 4 hours, and not go nowhere. My cousins came. I remember my cousin Kennedy came. That's Aunt Diane's daughter. She came and sat there. Aunt Diane dropped her off, and we went. I don't know where at that time I had a license, but we went somewhere after. I think I went home and went to sleep. We got food, and it was just for her to keep me company. My other two cousins, they came and sat there while I was just getting my treatment. My mom, of course, a couple of times. She had to work, obviously, had to work most of the time because I was under her insurance, obviously. I just had a couple of friends come, and when I was in the hospital, and with not even just family support, but I had certain friends. I remember I had a falling out with a friend in high school, and when I first got on dialysis, that friend reached out to me and came to the hospital to see me, and we haven't talked in years. Wow. And so now she's like definitely like my friend for life at this point, because I had other friends that never even came to see if I was okay in the hospital. Mm-hmm. I had 2 friends come to see me, and I will never, those are the only 2 friends that I like actually will always like respect, and that was my friend Unique Crawford and Lakeisha Brooks. Those are the only 2 friends that actually came and see me in the hospital. Now I have other friends that I've met after that always look up, they take me to the hospitals if I need to go. They come check on me. They come and bring me stuff. My friend Dominique Wilberforce, she comes to the hospital, make sure I'm okay. She brings my food, my family stuff. She brought my family a whole box of fruits and vegetables the other day because they were giving away at the church. She's always supportive, making sure I'm okay. My other friend Ashley, and another friend I just met, Zaria, because I went to school again. This is my 3rd school I'm going to. I'll tell you about that in a second. So it's just support from all around. And my boyfriend, me and my boyfriend, we almost been together for 3 years. So he's definitely like a big support system. I met him after I got my transplant, obviously. And I've had a lot of guys, like a lot of guy friends that I've just had like friendships with, maybe not relationships, but they couldn't take that I was had medical conditions. Yep. So I really couldn't pursue anything with them. So, and I was never upset because I can't put that on anyone. So I'm like, it's fine. Like, I've had, they're like, I mean, I just can't take it. Like, it's just, and I'm saying, because they're young, and I said I'm young too. So I said I wasn't upset, but the fact that I have a boyfriend now and that he's like, his dad was on dialysis too, and his dad passed away, so he understands what's going on. Maybe not personally for him, but he understands. Like, I saw this before, and like I know what you're going through, so I don't mind going through it with you as well. So he was just definitely there for me. He would, when my mom was at work and stuff, he would be upset if he can't go to the hospital and take me to treatments. Like my mom said, the treatment that I get every 2 weeks, I used to go to a hospital and get it for a year. And if he can't take me, he will blow up. Like, he's like, I can take you. And I'm like, my mom, he's like, no, let her go to work. Like, I'm like, okay, you'll take me. If he can't take me to my treatments, he will blow up. I go with you to the hospital. He stayed in the hospital with me overnight because he works in a hospital overnight as well. And when my mom had to go to work, he came right after his shift and stayed there with me overnight. Support. And when I stayed at a hospital he works at, he would just come upstairs, keep bringing me stuff. And after he got off, when he would go home, he would just stay in the room with me. And if he's not a part of the medical decisions, he would be like, well, why didn't I know this? I'm like, you're not my husband yet. You just my boyfriend. I think he just wants to like support and like take care of us and like, just make sure like, I'm like, and you appreciate it too. Like,
that is awesome. That is awesome.
So it's just a lot of support all around. And obviously on Diane, we're not even going to talk about her, but obviously that was a big support system. So
yes.
I'm really in awe of you, Jeannie. I am humbled. I am so happy for you. I can't believe I can't believe it because I see you. But after hearing everything that you went through, the type of personality you came out of this with, that drive, that you have 2 degrees and you're working on another one after you went through dialysis, you take all these medications, like your life, like, and you just came from having COVID. Yep. I cannot, you are such a strong person, such a beautiful person. I applaud you. I wish I could hug you. I'm a big hugger. I wish I could hug you and cry with you just because you're amazing. I have never heard someone go through what you went through and talk about it like this. You have such a positive way of viewing things that's amazing to me, honestly. That's honestly amazing to me.
That's why it's so important to get that information out there because we don't know what people are going through. So as we become educated and as we become knowledgeable of people of color, especially of what, things happening behind closed doors, or you don't see on TV, or you don't see broadcasted anywhere. We need to know this information.
We do.
We truly do. And just these this pastor, I really, like I said earlier, I really appreciate you for having us and let us actually talk about our story, specifically my daughter's story, just to let people know awareness. We need to be aware of what's going on in our community and our society.
You know what, to Jeannie's point, I think disinformation and misinformation actually holds us back.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it holds us back. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about there. I think Patty talked about the whole pharmaceutical aspect of it.
She did. Yes, she did.
Medication.
Yes,
Listen,
she did.
One thing, again, I think holds us back is not having the either zero information or what's even worse is having incorrect information.
Yeah, I agree.
Incorrect information and not knowing the truth. The truth of the matter is that most people in this country, guys, that are waiting for a transplant, about 60% of those people, they are Black and brown people.
Agreed.
I can't make those facts up. That's just what it is. And so we need to change our own narrative. And we know that there are things that have happened to us in a community and as being Black and brown people.
Yeah.
We know that. Those are medical atrocities. A lot of things have happened, but we need to move. We need to still keep that in mind and still understand that, but that cannot hold us back. We need to get educated on healthy eating, healthy living, taking care of ourselves physically, mentally. We don't have these conversations fluidly and frequently as we really should in our own household. So we can change our own narrative right now, change the face of this. Don't be afraid to put donor designation on your driver's license. And something that happened in our family, as Jeannie just said, because there's a lot of myths out there that, hey, you're not gonna if you put it on your driver's license, they're not going to save your life. If you only knew how difficult it is to even get a transplant, and if you understood how it really works, if you knew that you could, if something happens to you, if you knew that you could save somebody else's life, even in your own family. How many people do we all know that somebody's on the transplant waiting list? That's how many of us, everyone in this room, and maybe everybody listening out to this broadcast, everybody has a mama, an auntie, an uncle, somebody that they know that needs a life-saving transplant. And so just for me, it is on my driver's license, and God forbid. And I told my sister, I said, if something should happen to me before Jeannie gets her transplant, if I could help her, that is my wish.
I just want to take the moment. We have come to the end of the show, unfortunately, but I do want to take a moment to publicly say thank you to the Gift of Life. Thank you to this wonderful group of ladies. I feel like my family just extended. I have more members who belong to the family now. I want to thank each and every one of you. Diane, Shonda, Miss Yolanda, you're my new friend, my new family member. And of course, the lovely couple here, mother and daughter. I love you guys so much. You have enlightened me in so many ways, and I hope
it's something else.
Thank you. And I just want to say that my business name is Nearla Ray Beauty Company, and I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So that's for everyone watching and for you guys as well. And my website will be up soon.
Can you say the name again? Can you say the name one more time?
She has it in the chat.
So my
Nearla Ray.
Nearla Ray Beauty Company. That's my name. My name is Jeannie. My middle name is LaRae. So it's Nearla Ray Beauty Company. And I'm an esthetician. Like I said, I have my first degree in culinary arts. My second degree is in business from Community College of Philadelphia, and I just finished my aesthetics program. So that's really it. That's what I'm going to do. And I make because I was looking at your hair and your makeup, sis. Because this is little, that's what I'm talking about. But yes, that's what I want to let. Thank you all so much for having us.
I love it.
It's so important to share our stories and to get true facts about what's going on in the world, especially with people of color. I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, I don't know you guys, but I love you guys. And thank you so very much.
Same here. We feel the same.
Thank you so much.
Well,
This was such
for
an honor.
everything, there is a beginning and there must be an end. So with
Yes, sir.
once again, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Special thank you to Leslie as well from the Gift of Life. And yes,
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
and it was an amazing show. So my closing thoughts: life is sacred, and it is indeed a gift from God, and we must preserve it by all means necessary. Today, medical technology has made organ and tissue transplant a perfect opportunity for all of us to become partners with God and sustaining and extending this precious gift called life. I mean, the fact that we can donate an organ while we live without compromising our health should lead us to exclaim, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Even death cannot prevent you from donating to someone who is desperately
Amen.
Amen.
until an appropriate donor can be identified so that they can have a new lease on life. Be that as it may, the truth remains that thousands of people who could benefit from organ and tissue donation from our community continue to suffer and die due to poor public awareness and lack of official direction from the church. So why consider to be an organ and tissue donor today? As you contemplate on this subject and talk to your friends and families about your decision, I want to remind you the word of Jesus himself. Whatever you did for one of the least of your brothers of mine, you did it for me.
Amen.
Until next time, family, keep the faith, but don't keep it to yourself.
Thank you, Pastor.
I love you all. And don't forget, if you want more information about tissue and organ donation, please go to donors1.org. That's DONORS, the number 1.org. I love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Pastor.